Well, hey guys, how are you today? It's Sharon here from I Restore Stuff, ready for another DIY live. How are you? When you pop on, just let me know where you're coming from. I'm from Australia, and the weather here is it's supposed to rain this weekend, and today it's feeling like it's going to rain. It's cloudy and it's cold. I've got my long sleeves on again because it's winter here. Yep, winter here in Australia. So can't see comments on my phone right now, so I'm just going to click on the live here to make sure that I can see. Oh, yep, there, see? Can see ya. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Billy. Yep, from Oklahoma, Mississippi, Louisiana. Wow, welcome guys. I've got my nice warm cup of tea here because it's a cold day here. It's cold and gloomy, a little bit gloomy. Well, I'm not gloomy. I'm always happy when I'm doing DIY projects. What have you been up to today? What are you up to? Oh, good morning from Brisbane, Mariella. Do you mean Brisbane, Australia? Wave your little Aussie flag for me. Now, if you are watching the replay, we do have a replay winner prize. If you comment replay in the comments, and Essential Stencil will choose from those. But if you are on the live right now, that won't be you. It'll be in the next 24 hours after we finish the live that they'll choose from those winners. But at the end, guys, stay tuned because Essential Stencil will be picking 3 lucky prize winners for stencils or something from Essential Stencil today. Hi Teresa, you took care of your 2 grandsons all day. That sounds amazing. That would be fun. Hi Donna. Hi Pam. Pam, you're not on the replay yet, so just letting you know, only if you're watching the replay. So I have to comment that during the live because it'll show again on the replay. Alrighty, and guys, if you are from Australia, I would love for you to let me know because we'll be picking a Aussie prize winner today for something very special, because I know that some of you are a little sad, my little fellow Aussie people there, that the shipping can't come to Australia at the moment. Hang on a second. I'm making notes because I have to remember to tell you some things today. So one of the things, thank you for sprinkling. Yes, that's one of the things I had to remember too. So if you do know somebody you want to tag in this or send it to them in a message, share the live. I'd love you to do that. I love to share it on my page or in my group. So I'm just over here on my laptop doing that. And I can read your comments down here, but not on my phone. Let me just see if I can swipe that across and make a difference. No, they're just still not showing on there. Facebook changes all the time, and so just sharing that with my group. I've got a Facebook page called I Restore Stuff, and you'll see those links in the top there in the description of the live. So in our description, we've also got some of the stencils that I'll be using today. So you'll find all the links there for any of those things. Vicky says it's freezing in Victoria, but you're in lockdown, so you're warm inside. That's great, Vicky, and I hope that you do have something to do while you're inside there. Hope you've got some DIY projects to do. And if you like stenciling, stay tuned because I'll be picking an Aussie winner because, guys, I have received in my hot little hands the Essential Stencil Brushes. So I'm going to be picking an Aussie winner. So if you're from Australia, share this with your Aussie friends because if you're watching today, this could be you. And I'm going to be using some of those stencil brushes because I haven't used these before. They're natural bristle brushes and they're back in stock. Now you guys know that they sell out really quickly. So grab your stencil brushes while you're placing your stencil orders today using my code I Restore Stuff. So you can use your ambassador codes anytime you go to the Essential Stencil shop there online. So it's essentialstencil.com. All the links are in the description of the live, and Essential will be putting them up in the comments here too. So yes, Michelle's got her brushes. Can't wait to use them. Yes, I've got my brushes here now too. So that's exciting. They came this last week. All right, guys, let's, yes, someone else has ordered theirs. Thank you, Sue. Arkansas, California. You guys are just from all over. If you're from Australia, I want to know though, because we've got some prizes happening today for you, and Essential is going to be picking their regular 3 prize winners at the end. All right, so it's all about the kitchen today. I thought I'd make some kitchen signs because has anyone seen the brand new summer stencils, or they're just brand new stencil range that has just been released? Some of you have ordered them. Don't forget to use your code iRestoreStuff and get 10% off your order. But these ones are among the signs there, the stencils there available. Let me show you this set that I'm going to use today. There's a couple of kitchen-y kind of signs actually. This one is called The Secret Ingredient, and as you can tell by that first stencil, let me just I've pulled it out of its case. I'm going to show you a tip on returning your stencils back to the case. How many know sometimes they get stuck? You know, when you're trying to put your stencils away in these little packets, and they kind of get stuck on the sticky stuff. I've got a great tip, discovered it this week. You probably may do this already, but I'll show you my tip. So the secret ingredient is always love. How cute is that? Just kind of a kitchen-y sounding sign using ingredients. And the one on the reverse side, or the second set in this set, is in this kitchen we dance. How fun is that? Anyone else dance in the kitchen? Oh. All right. If you see me just glancing down here, guys, I'm looking at your comments. So Essential Stencil has popped up the link there for the brushes, and they'll pop up some links for the stencil sets, but I do have them in the description of the live. The other set that I want to show you for the kitchen today is called Kitchen Set. It's a 3-pack set. Lovely, lovely farmhousey kind of kitchen signs. Let me take the packet away from that so you can see them. There's pantry. I love these. And remember last week, if you missed my live last week, I did the welcome to our porch sign, vertical sign, and it had these 3D kind of letter things. So you'll get all my tips for doing 3D lettering if you watch that video, because sometimes these little bridges, these little thin bits are hard to work with, but actually on the smaller ones it should be easy. So there's the pantry, which would be great on glass too, like if you have one of those glass doors for your pantry. Yeah, Sherry's got a tip too. Yep, I saw your tip there, Sherry. I'll share mine in just a minute. So this 3-pack set, there's the pantry, there's Bon Appetit, and there's kitchen, open 24 hours. I love that one too. Aren't they great? So there's some kitchen signs that I'll be doing today. I just wanted to show you my quick tip for when you've got all your stencils ready to put back in this packet again, and you open it up, ready to put them in, and the sticky stuff just sticks on the stencils. So let me show you my trick. I'll have to point you down here to the table. I use the edge of the table, so this part here, and this is just my workbench. You can use a plastic table, some kind of surface, and I'll stick my stencil sticky stuff there, flip it back like this. I know, you're all just going, magic. And then you pop it in. So you've got your 3 stencils there. Slides right in, guys. And then we just remove the sticky, stick it back down, and we're done. I know, yeah, right? Great idea. You saw it right here first, guys, on Essential Stencil Live with Sharon. All right, so getting on with our project today. I've got my nice warm cup of tea. A couple of farmhousey kind of signs. So what I've done is these boards I've just made from simple plywood. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do today? Hi, Melissa. Melissa's watching. Melissa, I saw your live yesterday, and Melissa had a great tip on there for using a damp cloth. So I've got my damp cloth here ready for when you've used your stencil brush, just to put it with the damp cloth so that the paint doesn't dry out on the tips of those brushes. Great tip from Melissa there. So if you watch all of the Ambassador Lives, you'll pick up some great tips along the way. A huge shout out to Amanda, whose birthday it is. Well, it's today in Australia. It popped up on my notifications. It's Amanda's birthday today in Australia, but it's not quite her birthday there in the USA. But I want to get in early, Amanda, and say happy birthday to you. So big shout out to one of our ambassadors, Amanda. All right, so I'm just cut out these boards. They're just really thin ply, so just very thin. And I've painted them white, and then I cut out some of these. I've got a couple of different sizes of little pieces of wood here. They were just scrap, just little scrap trim pieces that my father-in-law had in his workshop. And I said, can I just cut up some of those and make them into frames? So these are kind of rustic, really simple frames that I just cut to create. And I'll show you, I've got one that's kind of apart here that I'll show you how I put that together. I've stained them just with it's a black stain, but it kind of looks, you can see the brown of the timber through it. So we're kind of making them into frames. All I've done is stapled the corners at the back of it. So it's a little bit flimsy right now, but then when I'm finished, I will staple the board to the back of it and have a lovely farmhouse sign. So it's kind of my cheap version of making farmhouse signs. So the first one I would like to do, now first of all I've got to make sure that these signs fit within the frame, because what I did was, and I know someone's going to ask what the size is, but I won't tell you this size, because what I would do if I was you is go with the size of the actual stencil for your whole sign. So see, this stencil is actually a little bit longer than my sign on this side here. So I would make it a bit longer than that. Let me just point you down here so I can, there we go. Yeah, so what I'm going to have to do is just center it, but I want to make sure that it's going to fit. And, you know, don't do as I say, not as I do, because these were just scrap boards that I just cut evenly all around, and I thought, oh, they should fit those essential stencils that I saw coming. And so this one does. This one fits right in there. But on this one, which I haven't made up properly yet, I've got my boards here. This one's going to be wide. These ones are going to be sort of a wide looking one. I'm always kind of mismatched. You know, I just like to recycle and upcycle, and when you've got these good little wood pieces there. So see how I've done that? Made a little puzzle around the edge. So this, because they're wide, I've got less room in here. So I just want to make sure that whatever stencil I use is going to fit within that sign space. And I think we'll do this one, because yes, that does fit. So hopefully I'll get it all centered and it'll all work out perfectly. But guys, if you know me by now and you've seen some of my lives, Sharon is the king of winging it. Queen of winging it, shall we say. Shout out to my mum who's watching. Hi, Ma. All right, pop that aside. What I'm going to be using today is just some black acrylic paint. So you can use any water-based paint you like. We'll go with this one first. Oh, and I wanted to show you these also. So let me just show you these before I finish. So I've got this as well that if I have time, I would do this today too. This is a tissue box holder cover thingy jig, you know, for these square tissue boxes. Fits right inside and the tissues poke up through the hole in the center. I found this, it was just this golden pine varnished color. So I sanded it back, painted it, distressed the edges just a little bit. You can see that around there. And this is the perfect kind of thing that I love to upcycle and add stencils to. So wherever that link is in the description of the live for the new stencils that are out, go to that link and you'll see some more of these. And these tag stencils, the wooden tag stencils, you'll see wooden tags in there as well. You can buy your tags. They've got plenty in stock at the moment, I believe. These are great for those, but they're also great for little projects like this. So for example, this one is the lemon tags. So there's a lot of fun lemon tags in there. For example, fresh lemons on the front of here or something like that. So you can pop a few kitchen-y kind of words to go with my kitchen signs, and I'll have a box of tissues for the kitchen. Here's some cute ones, the Farm Fresh mini tags. You've got a range of, there's 3 in a pack. So the 3 different designs there. So we could put the Farm Fresh sign you know, on the side of that as well. There's also this set, Farm Sweet Farm tags. And again, you can put Farm Sweet Farm in the center of your tissue box. Or the other one I thought would be fun is the Lemons 3-pack. Yeah, that's the Lemons 3-pack. And we've got things like fresh squeezed lemonade. Pop that on the front of a tissue box. Because who knows that lemons have lots of vitamin C, tissues, if you had a cold, you would want lots of, you know, lemony kind of thoughts, you know, that's where my thought was. All right, so I'm just popping that aside. If I get time to do that, I'll do that in a minute. Now, I said I was going to do, this one here is the frame that if you've just joined me, I'm making some kitchen signs with the new Essential Stencil sets. Grab them from the links in the description of the live or when Essential pops them in the comments. And they will be picking a prize winner today, so don't go anywhere. 3 prize winners, actually. All right, so it's white on white, so you can't really see the stencil there that I'm going to do. Whoops. Okay, so with my Essential Stencil brush, I always, if it's a new brush, I mean, there's no bristles coming out, but sometimes new brushes, you might get that bristly feeling. So I just kind of give a little bit of a fling through there. I'm just going to dip those into the paint, wipe off on the edge. And I've got some paper here that I'm just going to offload on. Just offloading. Now, if you wanted to, you could use some painter's tape to tape it down, but my stencil actually carries over the edge of my sign. So I'm just going to center that as best I can and hold it down with my hands and give my brush a little swirl and a little press and a little swirl. And let me see, every now and then I'll pop over and Tina says, only Sharon is talented enough to paint in a long sleeve white shirt. You're so funny. And I'm painting with black paint too. Yeah, let's see how Sharon does with that. And mind you, it's an old shirt, and so that's why I'm wearing it today. I'll call it my painting shirt. Erin says, I now need a tissue box. Yeah, I just found it at a local op shop, we call them here, or thrift store. So just going to add some paint there. I'm taking my hand off. I'm not going to move it anywhere. And again, just offloading is the key to not getting, there's one little bristle right there, to not getting paint bleed through underneath your stencils. Yeah, let me know. Thank you, Darcy. If this is her first time watching, welcome. Your daughter does stencils and, oops, I missed the rest of that comment. And could use some quality product. Send her your link. Thank you so much, Darcy, and thanks so much for watching today. If you are new to Essential Stencil and this is your first time, because we get brand new likers to the page, followers to the page every single week, and we'd love to know who you are. So let us know if this is your first time watching today. Let us know in the comments that this is your first time. Brenda's asking if these are the stencils of the month. No, but thanks for mentioning the Stencil of the Month Club, Brenda, because Amanda has designed some gorgeous stencils for the Stencil of the Month Club. In fact, if after the live, if you go onto right here on the Essential Stencil page and scroll back to one of their most recent posts, you'll see Amanda's designs right there. A gorgeous tree with branches, leaves. There's an add-on that is fantastic with patterns that you can use for backgrounds of signs and things. Birds. It's and she's got a lovely thoughts behind the way she designed it. So I believe she'll be going live here on the page sometime with those designs. Just got another little bristle there. Hopefully now you're seeing the oops. You see the links there that Essential Stencil is putting on. Oop, Oops, there's Jenny. Hi, my auntie Jenny's watching today. Got a few Aussie people on here, which is great. Okay, so this is the set. It's got kitchen flavours to it. That's what I'm working with today, some kitchen-y kind of signs. And this one is called the Secret Ingredient Set. So up in the top description of the live, you'll see links to exactly which ones to get that I'm using today. So afterwards you can just look on the description of the live here and you'll see the links to that. Also, if you don't use the links, just remember to add my code, I Restore Stuff, at the checkout for 10% off all of your stencils. Now, as I was saying before, Essential can't ship internationally at the moment. However, I have a prize going for my Aussie friends over here today. So if you're from Australia, let me know, and I'll be picking a prize at the end for you, just for you, as well as Essential Stencil. We'll be picking 3 prize winners of Essential Stencils today. Okay, there we go. So there's our first one. The secret ingredient is love. And see how we don't have any, let me just double check, no, we don't have any bleeding through there because we've offloaded from our brush. And now I can just quickly wipe that off. So got my cloth here. I think the sooner I kind of wipe it, the better. So the longer you leave the paint on there, it tends to dry out. So I'll just give it a really quick wipe. It is a beautiful saying, isn't it? Darlene says I make it look so easy. I've had a little bit of practice, and now I've talked about practicing before too. So if you're worried about it bleeding in underneath your stencils, and this is going to make a nice stencil on my paper here in a second, I'll show you. It comes through underneath. If you're worried about it bleeding through, always practice on a piece of paper, like, the background I've got here to just protect the table, or a piece of cardboard. But I love these stencils for all sorts of things. What my main business is upcycling furniture and home decor, and I love to put the stencils on furniture as well. Okay, so I'll just let that dry off. We've got kind of a sort of a stencil thing happening here on my paper. And what Melissa was saying, if you've got a damp cloth and you're putting your brush aside for a minute, just put it in the cloth so that it doesn't get all dried out. We'll be doing another one over here in just a minute. So here's the frame that I used, that I kind of slapped together earlier. So all I've done is put a staple in each corner. So it is a little bit flimsy, but I want to have it so it's just right there centered. Marsha, you're new too. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. All right, so I've got my staple gun, but what I'd also like to do to make it really adhere firmly is to add some glue to the wood. And I'm going to staple this from the other side. And so, let me just make sure we're in the shot there, yep. So this is just a wood glue. So this one's called World Bond. I get it here in Australia. Don't know what your favourite wood glue brand is in the USA, if you're in Canada, somewhere else. I'm just going to add a little thin line of glue, and that just helps it all adhere together nicely. Oops. Then I'm going to lay this face down. So I've got those staples just in here, in each corner, just one just joining that together. So here we go. Now I probably should have painted the sides of this because I think that they're going to stand out a little bit. So I may have to go back with my stain that I used to stain the little wood frame and just stain these little sides right there, that little strip of side here. I might just get a little brush and stain those sides so that it doesn't stand out so much. So I've got my staple gun. What I want to make sure is I've got it right near the edge here. looks like it's coming out a bit there. All right, and I want to pop the lid on my paint so that doesn't dry out too. Got my hand down really strongly on it, and I'm just going to staple right through there on each corner, and then I want to go back and do the middles. And if I miss and it goes inside, well, I'll have to take it out and start again, and I don't like doing that, but I kind of know how wide it is, so I'm just going to pop one in the centre there. So of course it's not a professional picture frame by any means, but it's a really fun and easy way to just use up your scrap bits of wood. So I'll show you how to piece that together when I do my next one. So there's one. The secret ingredient is always love. Isn't that gorgeous? What a cute little sign for your kitchen. So again, you can just then add or nail a little alligator, I think that's what they're called, the little tooth thingies, the picture hanging thingies onto that. So here's our other one. And again, all I've done is used these little scrap pieces of wood, and I'll show you how I piece those together in just a minute. So if you're new today, just remember to pop that in the comments. We'd love to know if it's your first time watching one of our lives. Oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Oops, got to scroll down through to catch up with your comments, guys. Love the stapler, someone said. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a battery operated rechargeable staple gun. I used to use one that I had to press down, and it got a little bit tedious if you're doing upholstery kind of thing. So sometimes I'll upcycle things like that. You can go check out some of my furniture makeovers on my blog, irestorestuff.com. You'll see some of those on my Pinterest. You can follow me over there, YouTube channel. We've got tutorials there. And Instagram. Cup of tea, guys. Nice warm cup of tea on this winter's day here in Australia. All right, my stencil brush, here it is in my wet cloth, just kind of hanging out. So I'm just using a black acrylic paint, hanging out in a wet cloth so that the bristles don't dry out while I'm in between and adding frames to my bits and pieces. So what you could do is I just cut out a whole bunch of these boards all at once, and then used a roller to just paint them all white. And then I just did cut up the little sticks. My father-in-law helped with that for the frame. Okay, so right here over on the side, I've wet my brush in the paint. I'm going to hold this down firmly. It's right in the center. And I'm offloading the paint. So you want to offload as much as you can, because you want a fairly dry brush to do your stenciling. Now the font at the top of this is like that Ray Dunn font, and you will find a whole alphabet of these stencils on the Essential Stencil page. There's a whole alphabet of these skinny letters. I think it's actually called skinny letters if you search on the Essential Stencil site. Again, don't forget to use a code. iRestore Stuff is my ambassador code that gets you 10% off your Essential Stencils. Starting to see that there. Almost got a whole word done before I even needed to, and you saw how much I offloaded the paint there, so really you don't need a lot of paint on your brush. So you just got to scroll, those comments kind of keep coming fast. Okay, dabbing another little bit of paint on the brush and offloading it again to get most of the paint off, and I'm just holding down once again. You can use your painter's tape, but with this sign it kind of overlaps the edge, so I just do little swirls. Again, practice on a piece of paper first to get your technique right. Maybe especially if you're using new brushes or a different brush than what you're used to, or a different applicator. So you don't have to use a stencil brush. You could use the makeup sponges. Some people prefer those. Or you could even use a roller to stencil. So just being careful each time, whatever you're using, just to make sure that there's not too much on the applicator. So Colleen says, what are you using for a board? It's just plywood, very thin plywood, so that I can staple through it and fit it to the frames. So, and I'm just giving that a little stab and then a little wiggle onto the paper. Again, offloading, and at the same time as I'm offloading, see how I'm doing that swirling motion? It kind of gets the paint into the bristles. And I mentioned it before, but for anyone who's just joining, the Essential Stencil brushes are back in stock over on their store, so you can grab those when you're getting your stencils there. And if you haven't seen the new stencils, there's some gorgeous designs there, and we're using some of the kitchen designs today, so making some farmhouse kitchen signs. In this kitchen we dance. Scroll again if there's any questions. I'm trying to catch your questions at the same time. Whoa, Nora says it's 97 degrees in Texas. Makes winter sound very nice. I'm sure it does. And I know what those hot temperatures are like because I'm in a fairly hot climate. In fact, we'll never see snow here in the winter. We don't have any central heating in our homes, so it kind of feels cold here in Queensland. All right. Oh, thanks guys, you're helping each other out, answering each other's questions. Oh, Mary's going to some estate sales this weekend to try and find some things to stencil on. That's a great idea. You can find all sorts of fun things at garage sales, at thrift stores, op shops, even the dollar stores. You know, you can get some really cheap things and really fancy them up. Paint them a bit with some beautiful furniture paint, chalk paint or something, and can change the whole look of something that's plain and ordinary with a bit of paint, some stencils. Okay, so that was pretty easy enough to do. Once again, we're being very careful not to cause bleeding underneath the stencil by using a very dry brush, which is why I offload up here. Just going to grab my damp cloth again to pop the stencil brush in. Thanks Melissa for that tip yesterday on her live. I caught that. Okay, so taking that off, and again, just want to also use the damp rag for a second to just wipe that clean as soon as I can so that all the paint doesn't dry hard on there. And who thinks they might like to use that one in their kitchen? Sounds a bit fun. Kind of makes the kitchen a happy place when you're dancing. Anyone else dance in their kitchen? This set is called the Secret Ingredient Set. So if you're looking for it on the Essential Stencil page, they've got a handy dandy search bar right there in the top that you can just search for the stencils that you need. Okay. That's good enough for now. And again, if I wasn't doing this on a live, I'd be rinsing off this cloth frequently. All right, just going to pop that over there. So let me show you that close. Isn't that cute? I love that font at the top there. Now, here's the tricky bit. So this is where I stained just these random pieces of wood. They could be any width you like. So the one I did earlier, that's a nice thin one, but this one's quite wide. So I am going to put it together like a bit of a puzzle. And the way I want to do that, I want this long one sort of shifted that way, and this long one is going to be shifted this way. And then I'm going to put this one's going down that way. So it's kind of following each other along. I don't know if that makes sense the way I'm doing it, but if you wanted to try it, you can always just catch the replay and, you know, rewind, pause, till you see what I'm doing here. But it's kind of like, yeah, a little bit of a Tetris or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so that's the way I want it. There's one of these that had kind of a little bit of a glitch. I don't know if that was glue or something, so the stain didn't quite take there. So I want that to be on the back side of my sign. But because I have to staple it, now this one looks a little bit lighter, but that's even lighter. So now I want to just use that side. And this is Farmhouse, so it's kind of real, you know, rustic, and it doesn't matter if they all look the same. So what I'm going to do is flip this over, because what I'm going to do is staple on that side. So I'm just going to shift the board out the way for a second and try this again. Let's go. Oh, hang on, guys. What's with that? That one goes there. Now I'm getting my puzzle mixed up. All right. Let's see how this goes. And it doesn't matter if they don't even match the corners. They can be a little bit off. Just going to double check my board that it lays on top. Yep, perfect. So I can afford to just pop that in a little bit. Now I'm going to use my staple gun. It's just a battery operated one. You can use just the hand ones if you wanted to. So all I'm doing is joining this to this, and it's not going to be great. Like, it's not going to be strong. It's just enough so that we can. I'm just hoping that didn't come right through, because it is kind of thin, but it didn't. We're good. And one there. Let me see if I've got that in the middle. Yep. One here. So just, it's almost like a temporary measure, but I'm not going to take them out. It just kind of stabilizes this until I turn it over onto the, no, I'm not going to turn it over even. I'm putting the sign this way on there. And then we're going to staple it on there together. Just making sure we're all in. Yep, we can see it. Now using my glue. So when I use the glue, I've just got to remember that not to put it on this outside section. So I've got to keep the glue more to this inside rim. Maggie likes the thin one. How about you guys? Tell me again, who likes the thin one, who likes the thick one? They do have some really cute sets. You could use this farmhousey sign look for quite a number of the Essential Stencil signs. So, okay, I'm going to do like a squiggly line on here, just because it seems like the right thing to do. My grandfather was a builder and my uncles are builders, and I'm pretty sure I've seen them do this to carpentry work and gluing stuff together. Pretty sure that's what you do, you know? Oh, that's funny. Okay, popping my board down on here now, centering it right in the middle. And what's going to hold that down now are some more staples. And yep. Hoping that's not too loud for your ears there, guys. One in the centre. Let me see. And two more. Nearly done. I always worry that I'm going to be too close to the centre and it's going to come through somewhere. But no, the staples are short enough that they're not too long for this project. So I like the way that that finished actually, because you can't see as much this little thin board in the back. It's kind of hidden because this top frame comes out a bit more. Whereas the first sign I did, I think it's just a little bit too short for the frame. So I can see that board, like if it's hanging on the wall, you can kind of see that that side of it. So see, it's just plain plywood. So there's two fun signs for In This Kitchen We Dance. There you go. And I just wanted to do a super quick one on this. I think we've got time to do that. My tissue box that I've upcycled, I'm going to do a lemon sign. Fresh squeezed lemonade. Who likes a bit of fresh squeezed lemonade? Sounds good for summertime. And you know that I'm in winter here, so I don't know. Is there hot lemon drinks? We could make it a thing. Could put some lemon in my tea. Okay, this one, don't know if I put the link there, but it's, just look up lemons in the shop, the Essential Stencil shop. It's a 3-pack. We've got fresh squeezed lemonade, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you could do one on each side, because really for your tissue box, you're going to probably have it up against a wall. So you could just switch it around every now and then too, you know. And the last one is You Are My Main Squeeze. Oh, guys, isn't that cute? With the little lemons there. I think I'm going to do the fresh squeezed lemonade super quickly right here on the side of my box. So this is going to come up on the lip here of the tissue box. So I've got to really press that down hard to make that happen properly. Don't go anywhere, because Essential Stencil is going to be picking some prize winners really soon. I think I'll start at the top here, because what I want to do is get that pressed right down so that I can, oof, that's going to be tricky. I think this is where I'll do a little bit of pouncing just to make sure it's going in there. And then, whoop. This is really hard to hold down, just because of there's a little wood lip on the tissue box. Makes it a bit tricky. See how you could just upcycle a tissue box for your kitchen. And just get over here, and then I can kind of relax my hand a bit more. Stressing it out right now. Whoops. All right. All right, while I am just finishing off this, Essential Stencil is going to pick some winners. Let me know when you see the winners' names in the comments, so we can all congratulate them while I'm just finishing off this tissue box here. Winner, winner, chicken dinner time. Speaking of kitchens, speaking of dinner, have you all had dinner tonight? It is, it's only nearly like 11 o'clock in the morning here in Australia. And I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't reloaded my brush yet. I'm still using just all of that paint that's still on the brush, because this stencil is fairly small. Now I'm doing some swirls, some pouncing mixed with swirls. And I've got to win. Oh, I've got to pick my Australian prize winner too, because one Aussie person, lucky Aussie person, is getting to a set of stencil brushes. So if you're from Australia, let me know. All right. I think we're done. There we go. How good is that? Oops, I gotta... Okay, winners. Yes, we do have some winners. Woohoo! Whoops, and I've just missed it. There we go. All right, there's our last bit, our tissue box. Gonna pop my brush on the cloth. And Aussie winner today. So, I've written down your name, Mariella Gracellin from Brisbane. So Mariella, you said you were from Brisbane. I hope you're still there. So you are my winner today for Australia for winning an Essential Stencil set of brushes. If you can message Essential Stencil, support at essentialstencil.com, let them know you're from Australia and you're Sharon's prize winner for today, and I will get you out your stencil brushes. Isn't that cool? So, other winners for today. You have won Essential Stencil prizes. Marcia, Roxanne and Donna. Congratulations to the three of you, Marsha, Roxanne and Donna. Essential has pinned your name to the comment right there, so you should be able to see that. I am so excited for you guys. Congratulations, and congratulations Mariella from Australia, who's going to be given a little set of stencil brushes. So here's our things that we made today. In this kitchen we dance sign. The secret ingredient is always love. Some little farmhouse signs for your kitchen. They don't necessarily have to go together. They could go in separate places, one for grandma's house, one for your house. And we've also upcycled a tissue box just to go in the kitchen, some fresh squeezed lemonade. You can get all of those stencils over at essentialstencil.com. Use my code IRestoreStuff to grab 10% off, always. Okay guys, until next week, I will see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Catch me on any of the social media channels at IRestoreStuff. I would love to see you over on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all of the things, Facebook. Catch you next time. Bye.